things don't fall from the sky. Like they don't fall. Like you have to go and chase them. And if you're waiting for them, they will not come just like that. So I don't do things without a purpose. I don't wait them to fall from the sky.
Welcome to the Blue Rose Podcast. I'm your host, Becca Blue Rose, a runner, storyteller, and believer in creating a life that feels like your own. Some weeks it's just you and me, and other weeks I'm joined by women who are chasing their own version of a bold, unapologetic life. Together we explore what it really means to take risks and trust your own path. Sami is a professional ultra-endurance cyclist who followed curiosity from the streets of Barcelona to the Andes, where she won one of the toughest races in the world. Her journey is about curiosity, courage, and pushing beyond limits. And she's also the founder of a women's collective empowering more women to step into ultra-endurance sports. Please welcome Sami to the show.
I'm originally from Spain, but I'm currently living in Chamonix, France, and the mecca of Alpine, even though I'm probably like, I guess I'm a full-time cyclist, but I'm a multi-sport athlete. I do all kind of sports. I love to learn new things, and um, at the moment I'm racing ultra endurance races, long distance and mainly off-road. So yeah, I guess I live and breathe and do cycling all the time too.
How did you get into cycling?
I got into cycling when I was 17, and that was through fixed gear bikes, which is these bikes with no brakes. But it was mainly city bike. Like for me, it was a city bike, fun, a lot of adrenaline. Obviously, you don't have brakes, so if you don't brake, you crash. And I was living in Barcelona at the time, and yeah, I saw my friends with that, and I wanted to buy the same thing, so I went on and bought it. And then yeah, I just joined this like illegal kind of races called alley cats, which it was like this races that you have to go checkpoint through checkpoint in the middle of big cities. Then the first time I traveled was New York, and then after that I basically went back, and there was this race called Last Man Standing in Berlin, and it was in go-karting, and I managed to place third as the first ever race. And it was like, okay, I have my first sponsor, like a sponsor that it was a kind of team, and they had Adidas, and then so on. Like it kept going like this, and yeah, my life into cycling came kind of it naturally. I let it flow, and I never said no to anything, and it just kept going.
And didn't you just win a race recently?
Yeah, a few days ago.
Okay, so tell me about this race.
Yeah, so it was my third time participating in the Acrosandes ultra endurance event in Chile. It's an 800-kilometer race with 12,000 meters of climbing. The first year I DNF after 300 kilometers because it was that time was in Patagonia, and the rain was more than the water you get in a shower or in a waterfall. It was like just so heavy that it was impossible. Like it was cold, it was heavy, and I tried, but it was like, no, this is like, I want to have fun. I'm not here to not see anything. So I just DNF. And then next year, I was still in love with Patagonia and the place and Chile in general. And then next year, I was there, and I was like, oh, like, I really want to come. But I brought my camera with me, because I found that my motivation was also taking photos throughout these races. But I still had fun. I was quite, like, let's say, yeah, I train, I have a coach and everything, so I was fit enough to be able to keep up and still finish second, so I was very happy about that. And then this race I came to do the same. Like it was in another location, so it's in Pucón Stats, which is Araucanía, which is like the route is called Seven Volcanoes, or eight volcanoes, sorry, and you go throughout these volcanoes. And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna take my camera. This time I'm taking even the big camera with all the big stuff and like blah blah blah." But I felt pretty good. So after the first night, the camera went into the bag, and there was no more camera. Even though I was carrying it and pushing throughout that weight, I still felt like I was in the top 3 and I was racing and we managed to have 50 women participating on the race. So, it was not a race against 11 like it was last year, which only 8 finished. It was more like it was a fun race because you were racing against women and you had to have tactics and you have to have this and that. And I had so much motivation by the fact that there was women chasing behind, that it was really fun. So yeah, I just got it. And I think we were like 2 hours apart, first, second, third. So the three first, second, and third, we were top 10 overall.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so not even like from 260 participants, we were like, yeah, 3 women in the top 10 was like pretty unique.
And if I recall correctly, like, there has not been I mean, I guess you just said, like, last year was 11 women, so how did the race go from 11 women to 50 women in, like, a year? I feel like that's a very big jump
Yeah.
in the amount of women.
Yeah, so yeah, well, one of the sides was kind of my fault, let's say like this, and it's a good fault, because I was talking to the organizer and Mariano and Pauli, and I was like, guys, this can't be possible. Like, it's only 11. Like, I think this event is very welcome for women to try. It's like it's 800 kilometers. It's not too much. It's not too less. The like now that they changed the location, there's not much rain like in Patagonia and stuff like that. And I was like, let's let's try to do like a campaign or like something to help out. And so I created with my women's collective, I created like more adventure, more women, more adventure, Acrosandes 2026, 5, sorry. And so try to like, yeah, shout out to other women to come over, like send some messages here and there, like spread the word. And then throughout the year, I tried to do webinars for free, so then the woman could feel a bit more like chill about or like and understand how to plan better and stuff like that. So yeah, it was I don't know, it was a mix between them and me, and they do a very good media coverage, and again, like I think by shouting that there was not many women last year, but the still women can be there, I think they were more motivated. So
Mhm.
yeah, there was 50 women. We made a little dinner a few days before. We kind of tried to get a lot of pictures together. We did the portraits with the women's collectives. So yeah, just to showcase that, yeah, more women can come maybe next year.
Are most of these women that are participating, are they also cyclists that are training all the time, or are some of these women newer to the sport?
I think there's a mix. I think for a lot of people, this was their first ultra, which is amazing. I think I will have to do like a little questionnaire, but I think maybe 40% was their first ultra. Maybe 30% they've done something like that before, but this was like a big challenge still. And then maybe, yeah, 20% was like they've done this multiple times. There was a big mix in there. And probably I will say maybe 3 of us will be full time, like living from cycling, maybe from all. So all the rest have full time jobs or like a job aside or like our mums or I don't know. Like I remember this girl. We were we were chasing hard, like we were doing hard, going. She was a really good climber. I was a really good descender. So we were like boom, 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 like one behind, one in front, one behind, one in front, and then I saw her the day or 2 days after when we finished, and then she comes with kids, and I was like, "Oh my god, and you're a mom?" And I was like, "How the hell do you do this?" I was like, "You just rated 800 kilometers, like training, like everything, and you're a mom." And I was like, "Chapeau, like wow, like this is incredible." So yeah, there was a mix of everything.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to see more moms out there. I just watched a ski documentary that was about I don't even remember what it was called, but it's on, like, the Girl Winter Film Tour, if you've heard of that, and it was about a mom skier who is still ripping it with 2 kids and just, like, there's, like, so many more stories coming out about moms that are, like, athletes, and it's really cool to see as someone that's, like, aspires to, like, do both.
Yeah.
Well, I think I saw that, actually, I saw you on a start line and you had your camera, and I was like, "How does one cycle and compete and then also be the one taking the photos? Like, what does that look like? Are you, like, on your bike taking photos, or do you stop, pull off, and then take photos?
I barely stop. I will normally be like, no hands, like, here and there, and yeah,
Okay.
risking it a little bit, but yeah, like, yeah.
Hey, I mean, there like, if that gives you the passion to, like, continue to cycle, then, like, that's what the passion is, right? Like, I feel like there's a lot of athletes who have when I talked to Quinda, like, we talked a lot about how, like, art is kind of, like, what fuels her cycling.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's very similar. Like it's very similar to her point of view because even though like I went to do this crazy race in Kyrgyzstan before this one, that was in August, and I got a
Mhm.
mentor for that, and I was like, I need to get a mentor because mentally I don't feel prepared for some reason. Even though I've done million bikepackings, a million things, like this one feels above like everything anyway. And so the mentor was like, "You need to find, a, not a quote, how do you say it? Like your mantra." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay." Like, I went to therapy and stuff, and they told me that, and I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, whatever." But this time I was like, "Okay." And then suddenly it came, and it was like, if you go further, you will see more." And this was like to also motivate yourself to not DNF because I was like, what do I want to do there? I want to go and take photos and have fun. So if I go further, I will see more and I will be able to take more photos. And he loved it. He's like, I've used your mantras myself as well. And I was like, oh, that's really good. Because it's yeah, like that's what I will tell people, if you go further, you will see more. Like, don't DNF just because you have a little problem. Just like chill, stop, solve it, continue, like, and you will keep seeing more. And that's what we are here, I guess. It's not just about like, yeah, I was racing, but I still saw in the daylight a lot of things, but I still also like in the middle on the middle of the night, stopped and I like turn off my lights and look at the stars. Like, I also want to. I'm there for this. I travel to the other side of the world for also these moments of joy and I think yeah, for me it's a very isn't it it was never about winning. It was more about like yeah, seeing things and yeah. So I'm very happy.
But I feel like that's kind of why, like, I don't know, I mean, I guess there's some people that, like, their, like, need to win is there, but I do feel like a lot of people that are participating in endurance sports or extreme sports are like, "I just like to see the world, and I like to be outside in nature, and this is just, like, a vehicle for me to do that in a really cool way and also be able to challenge myself," you know?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think you've learned from doing ultras?
I think there's a lot of things obviously that cycling has teach me over the years. For example, ultras specifically that teach me that a lot about patience because it's like it's not just about watts like or like whoever goes fast is whoever goes in the smartest and best way. And I don't know, and have patience that everything will come, it's not like I want it now. Like this is not like a one day race. It's like you need to like chill out and take it easy and like deal with your patience of like, okay, this is gonna come, but yeah, bit by bit.
I love that. I think that endurance sports are kind of just like a metaphor for patience, honestly, because like something I think about a lot is that you can like put in so much effort and like time and training into something and then it can go like really poorly and you have to like be okay with that outcome and be like, yeah, I DNF'd that, but like how much I trained for that and like put in like the mindset and the work to accomplish that and then it like doesn't go your way and then you're just kinda left with that, which is, like, really hard to grapple with, or, like, if you're injured and you're an athlete, it's like, "Who am I without this thing that I've, like, built my life around?" So what is your life like when you're not focused on, like, a cycling goal?
Oh, I think it's for me, it's very easy to get hooked up in any other sport. At the moment, I've been paragliding a lot. I do a lot of skiing, and especially now, I mean, now I'm still in Chile, so this is not my house. This is Chile, and I brought all my climbing alpine gear to climb a couple of volcanoes here as well. So then, yeah, I do alpine ice climbing. I do, yeah, all that stuff, skiing. Yeah, climbing itself. I'm very hooked up with paragliding at the moment. I've done before surfing, skateboarding, spearfishing. I can keep going.
I know. Please keep going. Okay, so like, where's the time for all of this? Like, where's the and I know, like, I asked that with, like, the full knowledge that, like, there's never a good time to learn anything, so it's kinda like you just gotta, like, add it in whenever. But I am just curious how you, like are these sports that you're, like, leisurely doing or, like but I feel like you can't leisurely just be paragliding, right? Like, you have to put a lot of effort into learning to paraglide. Where are these fitting in?
I mean, paragliding is kind of pretty good because I needed a sport that I don't um I I like how do I say, like, I don't do sport like in terms of like, I was going alpine to home. I live in Chamonix, so you take the lift up and then you're already 3,000 meters, and you come back home and you're destroyed. And that for me will destroy my training as well. Because then I will be tired, altitude will like la 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 and all that stuff. Anyway. But then I was like, I need a sport that I can do without like cooking myself so much, and being able to just do it do something fun. And so where I live, I have the amazing situation that you just take a lift up and then you fly down, and then you can take a lift up and then you fly down, and you can do that repeatedly until the wind is wrong or bad, and then you stop. And then I can go cycling then. So, or I go, this is my rest day and it's fine. So yeah, so that's why the paragliding is very useful currently
I love
and
it.
very easy. Now it's, for example, now it might be a bit harder because obviously there's snow, and therefore you need to take your skis. So then it's not that like you can still just take off with skis, but might as well just go for a little randonnée or like a couple pistes and then go to fly down. But yeah, basically, yeah, that would be my main thing.
Mhm. So, for people, I guess part of this podcast is, trying to give women the dose of confidence to like go after their dreams and they see like an inkling of like, oh, when you're like kind of sitting back and you're watching someone else do something and you're like, that looks like a cool idea. I could totally do that. What makes you act on that thing and be like, I can learn that, right? It's like what gives you that confidence to like find to go after those little like that could be cool, like, I wanna try that, and then also, like, the courage to be a beginner, because I think that's where a lot of people struggle is the, like, "I don't know anything about this. Who do I think I am to learn to paraglide?"
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of sports, obviously, you need to take them consciously. It's not like you can learn them by yourself. So obviously, I took courses, for example, of paragliding, or like now more and more there's clubs and collectives of women that you can like go and register for having just women groups here and there, and therefore being maybe more comfortable in the environment of just a woman group and not having a male um, like making comments or anything, if that is what it happens in some of the sports, and it still happens unfortunately these days. So like in the mountain is still very very male dominant, like paradise, let's say, and women are still bit by bit getting in there, but I think like yeah, it's getting a lot better. So obviously, like when I started also fixed gear and bikes, I was probably one of the only ones in Barcelona with a funky ass bike, very colorful, very poppy. And then people will look at me as like, what is this? Like, what's this bike? Like, And I remember, or like skateboarding was the same. It's like, oh wow, a woman skateboarding, like this was strange, and I'm not that old. um, so what I always say is like, I always try to say to myself, like, why do I care about what other people say if this is what I want to do? I just go and do it no matter like one of the things that I always said in cycling is like no matter who you are, where you come from, what clothes you wear, like you're out there and you can ride your bike, just go and do it, so you always will not know if you like it or if you don't like it or if you want to do it or if you don't want to do it if you don't try it. So some people have more fear in things and people have less fear in things. If you have fear in things, but you see your friend that I don't know, that does that thing, go and ask her like, "Hey, can you help me on this?" Like, and they will do it. Like, I have my best friend this year probably joining her first ultra. She's like, "I don't even know how to start training." And I'm like, "Just just go out and ride your bike at the moment. You need to enjoy before you get into any training. And then after that, it's everything else." But yeah, just at the moment you don't enjoy it, I will say stop doing it.
How do you personally deal with fear? Right, because like, okay,
Um,
if you're like, are you scared of paragliding? There's certain things about, like, for me, for example, like, ultra running is my thing, and I'm, like, terrified of the dark, and so, for me, even though, like, I know that there's a bunch of other people probably on the trails, I don't know, sometimes at night, like, it just gets a little spooky, and then I think about paragliding, and I'm like, terrified of heights, and I'm like, "That would be an awesome thing to do," but, like, the height portion of that scares me, and so I'm just curious how you deal with fear and allow yourself to step into it instead of step away from it. You're like, "I have no idea."
I have no idea. Like,
Yeah.
I remember my friend, a friend of a friend, she took me one day to ski with her, and it was the first time in probably 6 years or more I touched back to skis. That was like 4 years ago now, I think, or 3 years or 4 years ago. And I was like, I skied all my life when I was young, but then I stopped for a long time. And skiing is something that if you don't do it constantly, it's hard. Like it's the technique. And then I went off, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna go for some powder, and I was like, yeah, and I was like, oh my god, I think I've touched powder 2 times in my life. Like, and then I just threw myself. I had ski touring like boots and shoes and everything. I forgot to lock my boots. I had no fucking clue. So I was falling all the time, but I was still like just having so much fun. And then the friend of my friend comes and he's like, like, why are you falling all the time? And then he looks at me, did you tie your boots? And I was like, yeah. I was like, and then I had nothing tied up. It's like, oh my God. He's like, do you have any fear? And I was like, I don't know. I think I didn't yet reach. Of course, like I'm scared of things or moments or stuff, but I don't know. I feel like I look around and I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. Like I yeah, why not? Like um. So yeah, I mean, I think now as well, obviously you get very like hooked up in social media and videos and stuff and motivation and especially kids right now, like, but but I also feel like, yeah, if they can do it, I can do it. And maybe I will need more practice with what I'm seeing, but I will get to it. And I will try my best.
So then what's your first step in the trying something new process? Oh.
Look at that. I can s I can say paragliding, so, I was in the middle of my season, so I was still training and paragliding would have been something that I've never tried before, like, I mean, surfing, skating, and all that, like, I've been doing it over the years, so there was nothing really new, and I really wanted to find something new. Same as skiing, like, even if you ski rando I actually tried snowboarding last year, which was really fun as well. But all this stuff, I was like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, yeah, paragliding, let's say, is the next level of like trying something real new. And yeah, just registered to the course. I saw it open, went in after 2 days of theory and some ground handling. They're like, off you go and you fly. And I was the first one
Did you go
getting
by
on the line.
yourself?
Yes. No
What?
tandem, no shit. 2 days after, they're like, off you go. And then you just run and fly. And it was pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie. The feeling, still have goosebumps because it was like I was shouting like, I'm flying. And yeah, you are basically flying. And then from then on,
After 2 days?
yeah, it's pretty wild. This is France.
Yeah, I feel like you live in Chamonix, which is, like,
Yeah.
a whole 'nother ballpark.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing, like in the initiation course, like the so you have just 5 days and yeah, 2 days, third day you fly, and then you fly the 3 days. And then I did perfectionist course to learn more, to learn better. And the last time I flew with that course, I I was taking thermals. Like they show me already how to take thermals, and I from a flight that normally takes 17 minutes, I flew 40, and I nearly vomit, but that's another story. Because there was too many turns. It's like a seasick, you know. There's a moment that
Mhm.
if you don't stop, you can vomit, and they're like, "Don't vomit in front, vomit behind, because if not, you vomit yourself." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, but just take me down here." So I had to like pull some the strings of the ears anyway, and then you go down to the ground faster. And that was pretty wild. That I was like, wow, it's 40 minutes that I've been in the air. It's amazing, you know. And then from then the next day I bought all the gear and I was flying every day since. Every time I'm home, first thing I do is take the lift and fly. So
If you're open to sharing, women in sport don't actually make a lot of money. So, like, how do you, like, sustain this lifestyle? And, like, how are you able to travel so much and, be in Chamonix, which is not the cheapest place in the world to live, while, being a professional cyclist?
mm, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it took me probably 10 years to be where I am right now, and like
Yeah.
economic wise and everything. Like I think it's obviously not just about results and it's not just about Instagram, but it's about a bit overall. Like, yeah, I'm somebody that loves socializing. I'm somebody that, like I believe in the products I wear. I will not wear something or do something that I don't believe in. I don't sell my soul for like just showcasing a thing in Instagram, like, or social media to sell and to gain followers or to do that stuff. So I try to stay really true to myself, even though it's a very cliche thing to say. But that's the first thing I will try and say to any woman who wants to really like come into this sports world. Like, stay yourself and they will believe in you, like it's even though I say always like to my boyfriend, I don't believe in myself, like this is bullshit, like it's very hard. And it's like, I believe in you, you see, now you can win races. And I was like, this is my first ever race, like I don't know like how I did it, blah blah blah. But like at least I try to stay true to myself, they're like, oh yeah, like I don't know, like small things like I go a bit sideways here, but like discount code in like your stories. And I'm like, sorry, I don't do this. Like this is not my style. This is not. I will influence because at the end I'm an athlete that influence, that I'm an ambassador, like whatever you want to call it these days, because I think everything comes all together. Like yeah, like a Walter Rider will influence and will be an ambassador of a brand the same as I will be influencer and ambassador. Like it feel like this is something that brands should normalize as well. Like everything now is a pack. Like I will perform the same way that I will influence. Like so the words are getting a bit mixed up, but I still believe that I'm an athlete and I still believe that I'm an influencer and I still believe that I'm an ambassador. So I think also that's the thing, right? Like it's don't put yourself, like call yourself a thing or like this one of these names is like try to be yourself in front of those brands and try to make to make them see that yeah, that's you're worth how you are. Um, because it's no like it's kind of pretty bad when you try and be something else, you know. And I think that's how I managed to go through these years. I am probably again. It took me 10 years to be where I am. Obviously, the industry before was a lot different. There was no much Instagram and all those things, so it started bit by bit. But yeah, like don't give up as well. Like you know, like and I say it even to my boyfriend, like you always have the no. Like if you don't ask, you always have the no. If you don't send this pitch, if you don't give it a try, you will always have the no. But if you try it, you might have the yes. And if you don't have the no, there will be another time and there will be another opportunity. So
Mhm.
so go for it. You have to also get in the mindset that is not always yes. It's also sometimes no, and it's okay. Like so I don't know. I feel like, you know, lately in the industry of cycling has been changing a lot. And, you know, some sponsors for me are falling apart. And I'm like, yeah, but this is the time, like it happens, you know, like they might come back, they might not. Maybe if it doesn't, well, maybe it's the end of an era. It's okay as well. So yeah, maybe I'll just open a farm and put some Bambis on. I just sorry, I just that's so random, but today I was riding and we just went to this my friend was like, "Look, I'll show you some Bambis," and I was like, "Okay." And it was a like this men's house. He was walking around and he's like, "Do you want to come and see?" And his house was just full of Bambis, and I was like, "I want this. Like, I want Bambis in my life. Like, this is
Like
how I want."
deer, right?
Yeah, the little
Yeah,
deer.
okay.
They were
Yeah.
so cute, and I was like, "Okay, I this is dream." Like, and he's like, "Yeah, they just cut my grass and eat some oats, and that's it." I was like, "This is
That's
amazing."
awesome.
Uh-huh.
I feel like that's the life that we'll all just end up opening, like, little farms or little, like, coffee shops in the middle of the no in the middle of nowhere when we get when we get tired of, like, doing everything else or when everything else falls apart. Um, but I do love what you're saying. I mean, basically, what you're saying is just, like, like, listening to that, like, intuition and also just not forming any sort of attachment to, like, outcomes of, like, right, like, you put the energy out there and you ask and you be the person that you wanna be, and, like, it's basically just the law of attraction, like, the things that are meant for you will happen and will feel natural and aligned, and you won't feel like there's a ton of friction there, and it sounds like your journey has been a lot of, like I don't wanna call it, like, effortless, but just like a natural, like, things have started to appear as you kept going down the path.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that might have sounded like that, but I was actually gonna say like on the other side, I come from a time that there was not many women on the cycling world, and probably that also made me have a space there. But also I will say like what I wanted to say as well is like things don't fall from the sky. Like they don't fall. Like you have to go and chase them. And if you're waiting for them, they will not come just like that. So I don't do things without a purpose, let's say like this. You know, I know that, you know, I don't know, like my win here, even though I didn't expect it to win, the win can lead to better things. Probably the past like even if it was a second place, is the second place on the hardest race probably in ultra. I know that that was surprising for a lot of people, but it's also good for a lot of other things. So I hope those efforts that I make, rather it's in a performance or in a media way, are worth seeing. So again, I don't wait them to fall from the sky. I kind of try and do them as well.
Yeah. Well, on that note, like, what did the beginning of your journey look like? Like, just the the chasing part of it, the, like, "I'm trying to make this happen."
Mm. I think it was a roller coaster. I mean, there were really good years. Obviously, the first, you know, when I signed the first time with that brand like sponsor, it was a bike brand from Berlin. together with Adidas, like the biggest sports brand in the world, probably, or one of them, together with like DT Swiss, like another big cycling like wheel brand and stuff. And I was like, whoa, is this the jackpot? But there was a lot of things that I obviously, I went from being freedom, like a girl on the street, to having a team and having to have like the square things, like things that they were rules. And I was like, whoa, I'm not sure about this. So I think, I can't remember, did I last it 1 year or 2 years? I don't really remember, but they took me around the world in this race called Red Hook, and it was really good. But after a while I was like, no, this is not what I want. And I did my solo time. Like, I searched my own sponsors and I searched my own thing, and I was still working full time, and I paid my own travels, and I just wanted to race, and that was it. So yeah, yeah, again, I come from full time working. It's not that everything appeared from sponsors. So yeah, things are hard work anyway.
Mhm. For anyone listening to this episode, if you could give them one piece of advice, or if there's one thing that you'd want them to like get out of listening to this conversation, what would it be?
I think go out and explore, no matter how. Like, just go and do it. If you want to go out and explore your sense of artistic sense, go out and do it. Like, try it in all ways. And be ready to fail, but be ready also to not fail. If you want to go out and try your first bikepacking trip, do it. Don't go for a month, maybe first. Try to go for a weekend. But go out and do it. Like, go to step out of your door into backyard. I'm pretty sure you've not seen many things that cycling can give you. Like, for me, cycling, the thing that I have the most impact from is to see places that I've never seen, and it opened the doors to my own town in Barcelona when I was doing fixed gear and I got my first bike. I realized how much of my own city I didn't saw. So imagine about the world.
Yeah, yeah. And is there been a piece of advice in your life that you've received that was the best advice that you've received?
Maybe it's not advice, but I will always remember my first ever big gravel race. It was Unbound 2018, and I was there, and Lyle Wilcox, which is right now like this amazing woman on the cycling industry, and with world records, like records all over. Anyway, she she was doing a conference, and she's like, you know, I prefer being on my bike than sitting behind the computer. And I was like, oh. She's like, yeah, like, if I have to choose and I have the choice of being on the bike, I will do it. So why would you have a bad time on the bike? Like, so then that always kind of stayed in my head. And I was like, yeah, I definitely had nearly burnouts and times that I didn't want to sit on the bike. That's kind of normal. It's the cycle of somebody that like does this sport like million hours a year, no?
Thanks for listening to the Blue Rose podcast. If you love this episode, please hit follow, leave a review, or send it to a friend who's building their own bold life. Keep trusting yourself, and I'll see you next week.